The greatest rivalry in sports, according to Woody Hayes, Bo Schembechler, me, and Jake Butt, Michigan tight end, and of course, millions of others. It's Ohio State, Michigan. It's the game. MarkRogersTV and Last Word on Sports breaking it down. Who could have imagined back in August, before either team hit the field, that Michigan, coming off a 5-7 campaign, coming off all those losses to Ohio State in recent years, would be a 2.5-point favorite against the Ohio State Buckeyes, the defending national champions, and even a 10-1 Ohio State team. That's how much Michigan has progressed this season. The offense is completely different than the offense that we saw in week 1 against Utah. That offense was extremely limited. Okay, let's start at quarterback with Jake Rudock. They have unleashed this kid in recent weeks. He had a huge game against Indiana and basically saved the Wolverines season and a shot at a Big Ten championship with that win. He threw for 400 yards, 440, I believe, 6 touchdown passes on 34-46 passing to win in overtime against those pesky Hoosiers, who almost upset the Buckeyes as well, got it down to the 5-yard line. All right. So you got Jake Rudock playing the best football of his career, Iowa and Michigan included. Devion Smith, a fine back, but not an elusive breakaway, game-changing kind of back, but he runs just about as hard as anyone in the business, backed up specifically by Drake Johnson. All right, Michigan, a lead at wide receiver with Amara Darboh playing his best football with Rudock down the stretch. He's got 52 catches for over 600 yards, and between he and J.Hugh Chesson, they have 12 touchdown receptions and over 1,200 yards receiving. We mentioned Jake Butt. He's one of the best both blocking and receiving tight ends in the country. He has great hands. He knows how to run routes. He's a very smart football player. Michigan, though, in addition to maturing at quarterback, bringing in Rudock, is better because they're blocking this season. So I don't know how it happens with Jim Harbaugh teams, but he's taken the same talent, the talent that couldn't get out of its own way on offense last year, and he's maximized the talent. So outside of quarterback, this is the same unit basically that played in 2014 and was one of the worst units on offense in the Big Ten. And they can run block this year, and they're protecting Rudock as well. Okay, on defense, Joey Bosa, forget the stats. They're not as scintillating as they were last season. He is just as aggressive, just as dominant. He's going to be a top 5 NFL pick. He's that good. He has been double teamed all over the place. Adolphus Washington is an exceptional nose tackle for Ohio State. Cam Hubbard's a guy that's making plays as well. Joe Schutt as well up front for the Nate Schutt for the Ohio State Buckeyes. All right, this defensive front seven is one of the best in college football, and really the Buckeyes' troubles have not been defensively. They're loaded all over the place. Eli Apple and Gary and Conley are two of the best corners in the Big Ten and in all of college football. You've got Von Bell, who's an exceptional safety. Darren Lee, and on and on and on for the Ohio State Buckeyes. They are super strong defensively. That's not been the issue. This is going to be a great matchup between Michigan's power running attack and play action passing downfield. That's really where they've hurt teams versus Ohio State's defense that's been so exceptional. This is going to be the best receiving unit that Ohio State has faced this season. Aaron Burbridge may be the best receiver, but best receiving unit with Butt, Darboh, and Chesson in particular for Michigan. Flip the script, and it's unimaginable to me that Ohio State, after just losing Devin Smith and 1 offensive lineman, so bringing back 4 all Big Ten offensive linemen, bringing back Nick Vannett at tight end, and playmakers on the outside like Michael Thomas and Jalen Marshall and Zeke Elliott, and the Big Ten passing record holder in J.T. Barrett, can't get anything accomplished against decent defenses like we saw against Michigan State last week. 5 first downs, 132 yards of total offense, the worst offensive performance from an Urban Meyer head coach team. It was abysmal. And something has to change when they go to Ann Arbor, and it's the play calling. Sure, I'm not going to excuse the players. I rarely, if you listen to me on here, rarely attack play calling because I think the players generally dictate the results on the field based on the execution of the plays. But when you're routinely running a quarterback sweep on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, you're not going to convert against a good defense. And that's what Michigan State has, and Michigan's even better up front. When you talk about the Michigan Wolverines, they are exceptional, suffocating on defense. 4th in the nation against the pass. They're 4th in the nation against the run, just giving up 263 yards total per game. That's number 2 in all of college football to Boston College. They lost their anchor up front, senior defensive tackle Ryan Glasgow. He was hurt against Rutgers. He's out, but Maurice Hurst, he's a junior. He's been solid up front, along with Chris Wormley, one of the most active ends in the Big Ten, and William Henry as well. They are seniors. They're great players. Athletically limited, possibly in the linebacking core, but these guys are extremely solid. Senior Joe Bolden, and also we have seen for an entire career, it seems like 15-year career at Michigan, Desmond Morgan. Jordan Lewis is having an outstanding season at cornerback for Michigan. The Wolverines are great on defense. But man, Urban Meyer, look at the film against Indiana. The Hoosiers tore up the Wolverines just a few weeks ago. Jordan Howard had 235 yards rushing. So this is a Michigan defensive front 7 that has limited just about everybody up front rushing the football, except the Indiana Hoosiers. And Devontae Booker, he only had like 60-some yards in the opener. So Ezekiel Elliott, expect to get more than 12 carries this week. If Zeke Elliott doesn't get at least 20 carries, there's something wrong. And also Zeke Elliott's probably going to just completely blow a gasket. Michael Thomas needs to get the football. He is possibly going to be the number 1 wide receiver taken in the NFL draft, and they have to find Michael Thomas in the secondary. And if Michigan double teams him, they've got to find Jalen Marshall in particular. I know Ohio State has lost some wide receiver talent due to injury. Dontre Wilson's out. Corey Smith early in the season, but Michael Thomas could really hurt this Michigan defense. He's the guy that can make big plays. Big, tall, not a burner down the field, but what a talent in high pointing the football and out fighting defensive backs for the football. Jabril Peppers, maybe the most talented athlete on the field, and consider that Ohio State might have 6 players drafted in the NFL's first round, and Jabril Peppers at strong safety, technically for Michigan. They move him all over the place. They try to take advantage of his athleticism, and he's going to remind some people that have not watched Michigan football this year of one Charles Woodson. That's basically what he's done without the highlight plays, but he is playing the volume that Woodson played and generally playing just as solidly in run support and as a nickel cornerback in those situations, also playing some linebacker when they go to a small lineup in passing situations as well. Jabril Peppers returns punts, and they're getting him more involved in the passing game on offense and running him around at the jet sweep, not giving the football every time, but using him as a decoy often. So Jabril Peppers may be the X factor in this game for Michigan against Ohio State. Michigan's playing much better. They're playing much more confidently than Ohio State is right now, especially the Buckeye offense. J.T. Barrett broke a Drew Brees touchdown record accounted for in Big Ten play last season. He's got the all-time record, and now he looks anemic, but they need to unleash J.T. Barrett. Let him run it. Let him throw it. Of course, Zeke Elliott's got to get his 20, 25 carries, but Barrett's got to throw the ball 20, 25 times. That's 16 in a losing effort against Michigan State. Get the ball to Michael Thomas. Ohio State's going to come back. They're going to defeat Michigan. Most of the week I was thinking maize and blue in this one, but I go Ohio State in this one over Michigan. They have a more talented roster, top to bottom. 23-20 Buckeyes. Need to hear from you now. Of course, the winner goes to the Big Ten championship game if Michigan State falls against Penn State. That's what's at stake, but more than that, of course, the game right here on Mark Rogers TV.